What if you took 40 kids and put them in the middle of nowhere?
40 young pioneers set out to build a world of their own in an old ghost town called Bonanza City.
It's the first ever Kid Nation.
For a show to take 40 kids and put them in a very isolated, abandoned ghost town outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, without parents was really kind of pushing the boundaries. It was very much like, what if there was a real-life version of Lord of the Flies? But not really that bad, but kind of. I think if you really look back at the time, we were coming out of the Iraq War.
This is the great ideological struggle of the 21st century.
There was a lot of division politically. So the notion was, could they create their own utopian society? Could they do it better than adults?
Foreman and his team put out a nationwide casting call looking for America's best and brightest kids. They also have to convince their parents that the show will be exciting, life-enriching, but above all, safe.
My parents were incredibly concerned about this whole thing up to and including like the day I left.
The parents had to put huge trust in us as producers. We instilled in the parents that the kids were going to have abundant supervision. We had scores and scores of adults, professionals, medics.
It was very clear that they weren't gonna let us just die. I thought it was like one of those leadership camps you go to where you kind of compete. That's kind of the impression that I went forward with into the process.
The concept for the show that they pitched to us isn't a bad idea for a kids show. A cute little summer camp show about kids, and it's cooperative and it's fun, and the kids learn and grow from it.
So in my head, I think, okay, there's adults making food for these kids. There are beds for these kids. You know, it might not be home, but they get to be around all these super talented kids. You know, kids that were on Broadway or Carnegie Hall or spelling bee champions. It's so different than suburban Indianapolis. So I was excited about it. I was like, this will be a great experience for them.
Wake up, wake up, everybody wake up.
It also gives permission for producers to film 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, a clause that would be illegal in most states.
When we first started talking to the producers, they were telling us it was going to be filmed in California. And then sometime between there and when the filming started, it was moved to New Mexico. And they didn't tell the parents until really late.
I don't know exactly why we were filmed in New Mexico. I mean, California's expensive. It's an expensive place to film anything. All the negative press about the kids being abused or taken advantage of is just really baseless.
It's perfectly clear why CBS chose New Mexico, because regulations in that state are more lax when it comes to the use or employment of children.
It would certainly be much riskier to do this in California. California has all kinds of law and has long had a lot of law to protect child performers. Going to New Mexico, having a non-union production, that helps the production company in a big way to achieve what they're trying to achieve here. As a parent, I would not have allowed my kid to go on Kid Nation.
This is Bonanza City, New Mexico, or what's left of it anyway.
They won't see their families for the next 6 weeks.
I'm not gonna be with my parents, and I think I'm gonna die out here because there's nothing.
I was kind of into the acting scene, and at that point I feel like acting included just kind of anything. It was a little bit of just like a panic, just kind of looking around. I was like, wow, like everyone is bigger than me, older than me. At this point, I hadn't even had like a sleepover with at a friend's house. I'm Jimmy Flynn, and I was the youngest participant on Kid Nation.
It's kind of hard to believe that I'm gonna be living out here, but I'm going on a trip with my sister, Olivia.
When we first got on the bus, it was chaos. There are cameramen in the aisles of this tiny little school bus, like asking you in your face with this giant camera, how are you feeling about being away from home for this long? I was a little apprehensive just because I was shy, but my sister was 8, and you know, for most 8-year-olds, it's, oh my gosh, I could be on TV, like this could be amazing. I'm Olivia Clower, and when I was 13 and my sister was 8, we were cast members on Kid Nation.
Not the first rodeo here. I had been doing spelling bees since I was about 3 or 4 years old. And at 8, I became one of the youngest at the time, if not the youngest person to go to the National Spelling Bee. I'm Anjay, and when I was 12, I was cast on Kid Nation.
Comfy chair. I started performing at 10 years old, and it just made me happy. I'm Daniel Kyrie, AKA DK, and at 14 years old, I was a contestant on Kid Nation. In my head, I was like, I am going to be a star, and this is what it takes. This is what it takes to be a star.
Their first job is to haul 40 days worth of food and supplies to the ranch.
The walk to Bonanza City was definitely chaotic. It wasn't like a proper, hey, let's meet everybody. I want to get to know who you are. It was just literally, all right, everybody start working. I don't think any of us were used to the heat and the dryness of the New Mexican desert.
I was just a little 8-year-old boy, but like, not very strong. But I remember just at least have my hands on the wagon. I just remember pushing for longer than I would have expected for us to have to push these things.
What happened, man?
All I know is the first time I experienced something like that, and it just really sucked.
I think I pulled a muscle in my leg or something.
I don't remember how far it was, but I think it was miles. I think seeing Bonanza City for the first time was maybe the first bit of not is this real, but this is real.
We're here! There's nothing here. It just looks like there was something, but now it's gone.
Because everything looks just sad.
Hey, Mallory, come here.
We started opening up these doors, and it's just random things on a wooden floor.
I'm like, okay, where's the beds? And they're like, oh, you have these thin mattresses that are stained and covered in dust that you can sleep on.
A couple of us started talking, and we were like, did you think this was gonna be terrible? The consensus was no.
Oh my God. This is gonna be hard.
Was it what I was expecting? No.
I don't think the living conditions would have flown if a Child Protective Services inspector had shown up.
We sent inspectors to the site to see exactly what was going on.
This is a reality show, and where children are used to make money, I'm a little queasy.
Yay!
The show ended in a firestorm of controversy, leaving scars that its young cast carried into adulthood.
You'll see articles, and they'll be calling a 10-year-old girl a bitch.
People online were saying you should go kill yourself.
I don't think it's anything but abuse.
I think the producers truly crossed the line with these kids.
Did they enable? Yes, absolutely.
I think I'm gonna die out here because there's nothing.